yeah, I think ultimately that's what makes a difference in high performance is how much you're willing to push yourself, I guess, when no one's looking.
In your experience, how pivotal is self-belief in shaping long-term success, not just in a career, but in life as a whole?
Yeah, I think my self-belief has been very pivotal in my career. I think there's a lot of time in football when you're on your own and you have decisions to make about how hard you want to push yourself and I guess how much you want to get out of yourself. So I think from a young age, I've always been really self-driven in terms of my training and I guess everything away from football as well in terms of how much time I want to put into getting my body right, my diet, things like this. And yeah, I think ultimately that's what makes a difference in high performance is how much you're willing to push yourself, I guess, when no one's looking.
Can you take me back to the moment you first had to back yourself, before there was any real evidence that you could do it? What made you choose belief over doubt in that moment?
I think, to be honest, my mum and dad and my brother helped me a lot with my self-belief. I think one thing for me is I was always a lot smaller than everyone else, which in footy you can tend to get overlooked for, teams and representative squads and stuff like that due to your size. But I think I was always pretty self-driven, but that definitely came from my family instilling belief in me. But yeah, I guess I took that to another level, probably when I was around 15 or 16. And I kind of figured out that playing AFL could actually become a job. And yeah, I think that's probably when I started to believe in myself. And whilst others probably didn't believe it until maybe I was 18 or 19 and I got into the system and played my first game, yeah, I was always pretty intrinsically driven off the field. And I think that comes from my family instilling belief in me.
How do you build belief on the days when results, confidence, or motivation just aren't there?
Having a greater perspective on, I guess, long-term goals and aspirations that I want to have in my career, they help me on those days when I'm lacking belief and motivation. I think at the moment I'm dealing with a pretty long-term injury, which is, it's the first time I've ever had to deal with something like this. And I'd be lying if I said to you there wasn't days where I've come in here and I really can't be bothered doing anything. I just want to go home. But having that long-term goal of wanting to get back and play and help my team win games, ultimately that's what's driving me. And there's been a few lonely hours kind of down in the gym and on the bike and stuff like that. But I guess having, that long-term picture of what I want it to look like when I get back playing and how I want to feel when I'm out there, and just to give myself the confidence that when I'm back playing that I've done as much as I can to, I guess, put in the work now. So when I'm out there, I'm back playing my best footy and just being the best version of myself. That's ultimately what keeps me motivated. It's been about 3 months now since I broke my ankle, and I've definitely grown a lot as a person away from footy as well. I think I've been able to spend a lot of time with my friends and family and really invest in those relationships. And then I feel like when I've been here at the club, there's parts of my game in terms of off field, I've been able to experience things I haven't been able to experience before, like sitting in with the coaches during games and looking at things from a bit of a different perspective. And I think that's only going to help me build character and leadership and resilience so that when I am back playing, I hopefully have learnt a little bit. And I think the other thing as well is I just probably realise how much I kind of take for granted being fit and healthy and playing week in, week out. And so to have that taken away from me, you realise how much it means to you. And so when I'm back out there playing this year, it's definitely going to probably mean a little bit more to me.
What's the hardest challenge you've ever had to push through? And how did that experience reshape the belief of what you're capable of?
I think, just having a bit more of a holistic view, I guess, of what goes into the prep for a game, I guess from the entire football department perspective and the coaches, not just looking at it from a player's point of view and seeing how I guess the analysis happens during the week of weaknesses and strengths of the opposition and what we need to do, but then also how that message gets delivered to a playing group, and then also how we go out and train that, and then on game day, how you have to adjust to things on the fly based off what the game gives you and I guess what the opposition is doing as well. And I guess just how fluid you have to be with decision making in high performance. And you can plan for a lot of things, but it doesn't always go how you want it to go, and shit hits the fan sometimes. So I guess just being able to adapt to that and make decisions under pressure and the flow and effect of those decisions is it's something I've learnt, I guess, particularly from watching the coaches and watching from that perspective. It's been pretty awesome and really eye-opening.
Do you have a deeper purpose that drives you, and how does that shape the way you show up, train and perform every single day?
Definitely, I think for me it's my teammates and wanting to experience success with them and make memories along the way. I think that's the biggest thing for me. I think sometimes being in a high performance environment where wins and losses are so important, and pretty much every weekend you're going through a end of financial year review on the playing a game. So, but I think the biggest thing for me and the times I've enjoyed my footy most is when I'm not looking too far ahead, obviously having the end goal in sight, but just really enjoying the day-to-day and the moments I get to spend with my teammates, and making sure that we're making memories. And often the best memories you have are when you go through a little bit of shit together and you come out the other side and push through it. I can, last year we had a bit of a tough period toward the end of the season where we got smashed in a couple games, but we regrouped and we ended up playing in a grand final together. And I kind of look at those memories the fondest, and I guess that's my North Star ultimately is wanting to make those memories with my teammates.
How do you lead others to believe in themselves, especially when they're struggling to see it?
Oh, it's so important. I think ultimately the thing you leave football with is relationships when you're done. You don't, you can't play forever, but you can definitely make friendships that last a lifetime. But I think in a high performance environment, it's the balance of those friendships and, the emotional connection, but then also when you're on field and you're playing, keeping standards that we want to uphold as a footy club to get the best results. But ultimately it's, I'm very, very lucky to come in here every day and spend time with, 40 of my best mates and get to go into battle on the weekends with each other. And it's a really special feeling when you train all pre-season and to see it come together out there on the weekend. That's just the most rewarding feeling. And that's probably why we all love playing sport so much. We have the belief that, our system and our game plan and all the work that we do all pre-season, when we get it right, we're one of the best teams in the competition. And so I think it just comes back to having the ultimate belief in that. But then being able to continuously execute that over and over again. I think that's what the best teams in all sports do, is they execute their game plan and their system time and time again. And the gap between their best and their worst is really small. So I look back to, I guess, that period last year that we spoke about, and we just got back to, playing the type of footy that we know works for us. And I guess, just having the fullest belief that when we all play our role and execute our part of the system and it all comes together, that, good things do happen. And ultimately we found that did work towards the end of the season last year, apart from the grand final.
Looking back on your journey, what role has belief played in getting you to where you are today? And what advice would you give to somebody who's still trying to build that belief in themselves?
I think for me personally, it's probably two parts to it. I think the first part being the belief in the fact that I do as much as I possibly can to get myself prepared for games, so that when I go out there, it's pretty much just muscle memory, and I'm just trying to be in the present moment and be as, I guess, focused on the game as I can be. And I'm not really second guessing myself or asking myself any questions. And I think that it probably started when I was 10 or 11 years old, to be honest. I've always been, as I said before, really intrinsically motivated, and I like to think that I'm a really hard worker, and I've become a lot better at knowing exactly what that looks like for me. And I've nutted out my, week to week of how I want to prepare for games. That's recovery. That's the way I train. Extras I do, things like sleep, watching vision and scouting the opposition. And I feel like that probably gives me the most confidence, so that when I do get into a game, which is the second part of that, that the belief is in all the work that I've done leading up to the weekend, that I can just go out there and have confidence in the muscle memory and know I've done the work and just go out there and enjoy myself.